it's like your first anniversary after the wedding, and the person you're meant to celebrate with is not there. Joseph at the moment cannot eat normally the way we do, so he's got a tube. It's called a peg feed tube. Most of the time, if I go and visit Joseph, I'll wear our wedding perfume, which has always been our favorite, so that when I go and see Joseph, he knows it's me. I'll tell Lance, when you speak to Dad, or tell Leslie, you speak to Dad, can you remind Dad the funny things he used to do?
Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of My Story. My guest today flew all the way from Scotland, UK, and she's here with us to share a story. It's a bittersweet story of how Kenyans abroad came through for her in a time of need. And so today we will welcome her and hear her story of how these simple acts of kindness impacted her life. Karibu sana, Christabel.
Asante sana.
All
Thank
right.
you for having me as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're looking gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
As
You
usual.
too. Thank you. It's so nice to finally get to see you.
Asante sana.
Yeah. How was the flight? Did you?
It was hectic.
Oh,
I
Lord.
booked with one company, I won't mention the name, and they cancelled the flight last minute.
Whoa.
But I was so determined, like, I have to come home. It's been like COVID and everything. I was like, I'm getting another flight.
still
I
have
have to come home.
Oh, wow.
So I booked, and the price was double the price. So yeah, and the boys had missed home, and they'd been through a tough time. So like,
Yeah.
we're coming
You
home.
really needed
And
this.
because I promised you, I have
You
to come and see
did.
you.
Oh my God! And your
So-
patience is on another level. Like
come
you
on,
sent
I was
emails.
like, yeah, I did. I was like, come on, yeah. And I knew you'll make it happen. So
Oh, nice.
I was just chill. I was like, yeah, I'll just leave it for you to do it.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in the UK and what did you go to do there?
I've been in the UK for like 16 years. My husband was in the UK.
All right.
No, went to study in the UK. In 2006, he went to do his second master's there. And then he invited me to go for his graduation that time. Just it was like a visit visa I went for. Went for the graduation, and I went during winter time. It was cold, so I was
Yeah.
like, hey, I need to go back home. I can't cope with this. So I told my husband, Joseph, mimi narudi nyumbani. I just have to. Graduation is done. I'm not staying. There's nothing for me to do. I hated it. I loved the snow. I loved the pictures, and then that was it. But just near the time to go home, I met some Kenyans. Mama Joyce, I love her to bits. So she made me feel welcomed at home. She's a mother figure.
Wow.
And she's been there for years, years and years. So she was like, it's not that bad. You're just homesick and then you're going to survive this. So I did. And then, to be honest, the Scots are amazing people.
Wow.
They're so welcoming. They'll say hi to you. Are you okay? They'll make you feel comfortable.
Wow.
So it's, there's that perception of people, like the white people, they don't like, but I put my hands up and say I felt welcomed. And that made me want to come back now and settle. So we went back. After that, the 2 months finished, we went home and tried to apply for visa for myself to go back.
Yeah.
And I was granted the visa, I think it was for 2 or 3 years. So I went back to stay with Joseph because he had gotten an extension for his visa after the studies as well. So within the 3 years that I was granted the visa, we said, okay, why can't we try and apply for the boys, my 2 sons. At that time, they were 6 years and 4 years. So we applied for the visas, but they got denied the visas. I don't know why, but they got denied, and we came back. We were very hearted about it. So we appealed for the visa to be granted, and then it took like nearly a year for the thing to go through. So they were granted a visa, and then we came and just settled. Yeah, and then since then we've been a happy family. And the boys had settled in school. They were in primary. When they were here, they were in nursery. The young one was in nursery. So when you're in UK, the primary, they start when you're 5 years. So it's primary 1 to primary 7. And so Leslie that time was 4 years. So we had to speak to the school. if they can allow him to start 4 years, primary 1, he did. Lance went to primary 2, he did. So it was hard time, and then within that time, I went to study.
Oh.
So I was in Queen Margaret University in Edinburgh, did my social work there.
What did you study?
Social work.
Ah.
But I worked for the government, the Scottish government, as a social worker, but I kind of, I loved the job, but I kind of got bored. You get that time, you're like, I think it's time to move.
Yeah.
So I moved, and then I went back to do my nursing, because we had this project with Joseph in mind to start kind of something like a palliative kind of care in the western part of Kenya, where we come from originally. So I went back, I did my nursing, and that was it.
Well, you mentioned in our previous conversations, that while you were staying there, a tragic incident happened. Would you like to take us back to that day when it happened? What exactly took place?
At that time, Joseph was having got the accident. Joseph was a PhD student in University of Dundee in Scotland. And he was doing kind of, he had been invited to a conference in regards to ritual abuse, which was kind of in line with the kind of job he was doing in Scotland. He used to work for another NGO farm that supports people who've gone through abuse or just kind of that, and write stuff for them, a lot of stuff. So he had gone to US for that conference, and unfortunately he got hit by a car while crossing the road. So going back, before Joseph traveled to the UK, to California, US, he traveled like on Monday, and within that time we were talking. So Friday morning, I remember I was going to work. Friday morning UK time. Yeah. So it was kind of around midnight California time, or so the time. So he sent me a text to say, okay, sweetheart, have a good day. We've never called each other by name. We've always called each other sweetheart, and that was it. So I said, okay, can you please text me when you get to your hotel? And then I know maybe I might be in the ward, I might not get the call or the text on time, but once I get the text, I'm going to respond to you on time. So that Friday I was working, so during my break time I checked my phone, because we don't work with phones in the ward. So I checked my phone, and I couldn't see a message. So I was like, okay, Kwani, what's happening? Lunchtime, I checked my phone, there wasn't any message. Tea time, we call it tea time in Scotland. So tea time is kind of supper time. So they call tea time there. So supper time, I checked my phone, there wasn't any message.
Was that now a worrying?
I started worrying, because that's not how we communicate. We communicate, if you see your phone, check on the other person. That's how we do it, We can't go like 4 hours without checking on the other person.
Right. So this was strange.
This wasn't right. And then I'm like, with women, you're like, okay, whatever. Did you find a side chick there? That's why you're not speaking to me. So that clicks. And then you're like, okay, calm down, Christabel. You just don't know what's happening. Calm down. I did. And then I started really worrying when it was nighttime. Now UK time nighttime, he hasn't texted me. I got worried. I got the chills, like something is not right. But I knew Joseph has high blood pressure. So I knew, okay, maybe with Scotland, it's quite a cold country. California is quite a hot, beautiful country. Place. So I knew maybe was the heat too much for him. You start creating excuses like you don't know. You just create this thing in your mind. So I was like, okay, it's fine as long as he's okay. We say where I am. We're like, okay, no news is good news. So I was trying to like convince myself, no news is good news. But was it good news? No, it wasn't good news. So Saturday. I texted my brother. My brother is in Nebraska, Mato. He's doing his PhD there. So I texted him and asked, hey, have you spoken to your brother-in-law? Because now that's Saturday night. They were to meet on Monday to catch up, So I was like, maybe they've spoken and he knows. So my brother said, we haven't spoken, but I know he's all right. Now that's Saturday morning. I'm just cleaning my house and everything, just making sure the boys are fine. Because, hey, me, I like partying. So I was like, Sato, me, I'm going out. So, but I need to sort the house, make sure everything is fine, the boys are okay before I go. So I get this call. It's a US code, but it's not my brother. It's not sweetheart. It's not my cousins. It's not anybody, either my friends or in the US. It's not them. So I'm like, hey, this is a negative feeling before I get this call. So I get the call, and then the lady says, because he saved me as sweetheart on the phone. Now I'll go back about the phone issue. Just hold on to that thought. So before Joseph left, Joseph had 2 phones. Safaricom phone, which is an Android, and an Apple phone, which was the UK line. Before he left, I told him, sweetheart, you need to carry these 2 phones. And he was like, no, I don't need, I just need my UK line. Because if it's sending people money back at home, I've already done it. Definitely, I don't need the Safaricom phone. I'm like, please, I'm begging you, just carry your Safaricom phone. We had an argument about the phone. Sometimes these guys, they don't listen. They just don't listen. So he was like, I'm not carrying it. I'm like, no, you carry it. So if you don't, I'll just sneak it in your bag. You have to take this phone. I had that instinct, like you have to go with your phone. So when Joseph was hit by a car, remember he refused to carry the Safaricom phone. He had the Apple phone. He wanted only the Apple phone. But that time he had 2 phones when the accident happened. They couldn't. Now I think the phones now, the Apple you can unlock. But that time they couldn't unlock the Apple phone. So he wouldn't have been found if Joseph went with only the Apple phone. They only managed to unlock the Android phone, the Safaricom phone. Joseph refused to go with it. That's how this lady managed to get me. So this consultant phones me and says, do you know somebody called Joseph? I said, yes, he's my husband. He didn't know if it was a side chick or something being saved sweetheart.
Of course. Oh my gosh.
So she says, I'm so sorry to tell you, he's been hit by a car and he's in a really bad shape. And we're kind of just giving him like 24 hours. If he survives, it will be a miracle. And I remember that time when he was telling me goodbye. We were just standing like the main door, like just when he wants to go. He told me, sweetheart, I'm living with my boys, my 2 boys. You have to make sure they're okay. You have to take care of these boys the way you want, the way I want, the way I've raised them. I'm like, why are you talking about
this? Yeah.
What are you talking about? He said, no, I'm just telling you because I'm away for a week, but I need to make sure you're taking care of my boys the right way. So I said, okay, that's fine. I always do anyway, but you're not telling me how to mother my kids. So he did that, and we kissed, and he left, and that was it. So when the doctor said if he makes 24 hours, I think I went to the mode. I just kind of blocked, like, speaking. Because I started asking medical questions. His phone to tell me my husband has... No, Joseph. Said Joseph has 24 hours to live. I started asking medical questions. Okay, and what's this? What's his heart rate? What's this? Have you done blood sugars? Have you done this? Have you done... What's the full blood count? What is this and this? And then for me, from her to me, I was thinking it's just like a doctor informing me at work about my patient, not my husband. Whoa. That's how I blocked it. So she was like, Christabel, let me phone you back. So she cut the phone. She was really nice. She cut the phone and she phoned back. She's like, now she reminded me she's speaking about my husband. Wow. Christabel, as your husband I'm talking about,
Not a patient.
Yeah. As your husband, do you have somebody close to you there? I said, yeah. No, at that moment I didn't have. I had the boys were in their rooms playing their video games and everything. So I had to be strong. I didn't want them to hear me cry or anything, you know. Immediately I phoned Joseph's boss. She's an amazing woman. Oh my God, Lori is amazing. So she was on her way, I think, to Edinburgh to do some stuff. So she turned back and came to my house. Within that time, I found my friend, Jo. She's Scottish, lady married to a Kenyan guy. We just live close by. So in her mind, I just phoned her and I just said, Jo, it's Joseph. She was like, is that man cheating on you? I'm like, come on, Jo, relax. No, I didn't even say anything. I think at that time I didn't say anything because I couldn't talk.
Yeah, you weren't sure.
I couldn't talk. I was like, no, Jo, just it's Joseph. That's the only thing I could say. It's Joseph. Christabel, what's up with Joseph? Is he cheating on you? It's Joseph. I couldn't say anything. So she drove back. She was going to see somebody in hospital. She had some patient in hospital. So she drove back and came to the house. And I said, Joseph has had an accident and he's in a really bad shape. He's in ICU. We all sat down. She couldn't stop crying. Within that 1 hour of me being told Joseph has had an accident, my house was fully packed with people. Joseph's boss had phoned other colleagues of Joseph and some friends we know. My friend Joe had phoned other friends where we live. My other Kenyan friend lives like in another town. She had phoned the Kenyans around. This is how you love being Kenyan, yeah? I'll tell you from that, this Kenyan, nakwambia, she just came. She knows what I drink or how I like enjoying myself. So she just brought them in and then they went straight to the kitchen to cook. She just blocked like nothing is up. Everybody was in a shock at the time.
Such support, yeah.
Yeah, so at that time, I'm shaking, I'm shivering, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm confused, I can't talk. I don't even know where the boys are. I knew they're in the house, but I was like, I don't know what to do. I just sat there, cried my heart out, and praying like I've never prayed before, and dismissing anything that doctor was telling me, like it can't be true, that's not my Joseph. So the team, everybody was, the guys that were in house.
Yeah.
So Jo, my close friend, she went to the bedroom and tried to look any document. She was like, do you have travel insurance? Joseph had travel insurance, but at that moment I don't know. I'm like, Jo, I don't know. So they went and wrecked my drawer, my bedroom, turned everything around to find any documentation. And I have another friend, Louise. She's married to a Nigerian. So she's hilarious. She phoned the insurance company. Jo managed to find the insurance company.
Yes.
Joseph had an insurance through his bank. So he found that on like the bank notes and everything. So they found the insurance. So Louise, she's, as I say, she's Scottish, married to a Nigerian. So she phoned the bank and pretended to be Christabel, Joseph's wife.
Okay.
She was like, oh, my husband is this and that. I need this sorted. I need to travel. I want, this thing sorted. Because in the US, they pay for medical care. But if you have the insurance, you don't need to pay because the insurance, of course, covers that. So it was important for us to know that and then speak to the hospital. So the hospital kind of like sorted the rest, and just to make sure Joseph is fine, is taken care of, you know, because when Joseph had an accident, they didn't know if this guy is homeless. He didn't have any identification with him at that time, you know. So fast forward, Louise sorted that one out.
Wow.
And Joseph's work colleagues managed to sort it's an ESTA thing, it's like a visa to the US, and managed to get a ticket and everything. And so that was being sorted on Saturday. So Sunday we were waiting for that ESTA thing, the visa thing kind of to happen for me to travel. So I flew to California on Monday morning, very early in the morning. How amazing are these Kenyans in UK first?
Yeah, coming through for you.
I know they tried to now arrange childcare for the boys. Remember, I'm traveling to see Joseph, and I have children. Kids in the house, yeah? So kind of they made like a rota to make sure somebody's, because I asked the boys, do you want to go and stay with somebody? They said, no, we're staying here. Dad is not here. Mom is not here. We have to take care of the house. I'm like, okay, that's so sweet. So they managed to, so the Kenyans kind of like managed to try and get like a rota where each day somebody will stay in the house and make sure the kids are okay, they've been fed, they've gone to school. And Jo, my friend, so she was like the point of contact for the kids in case of anything at school. Mama Joyce was the one, like she was the head of everything, like saying, you guys, have you done this, have you done that, have you done that, you know? She's Auntie Joyce has been my strong one, all through, has been my strong one. So going now for traveling, no, when the news spread, it was shared in different platforms, here in the UK and in the US as well. So Kenyans, remember it has been shared on Saturday. Sunday, the Kenyans are already in hospital. These people, I don't know them. I've never met
California?
Them. In California now.
Wow.
I've never met them. They kind of organized for somebody who's going to come and pick us from the airport in LA. So Dottie, I love you so much. This lady, she's a nurse, and that time she had a young child, yeah? And she had just finished, I think, her shift. She left her kid to come and pick strangers from the hospital, from the airport, sorry. She picked us from the airport, took us to the hospital, waited for us to have time with Joseph, and she took us for a meal. So we had a meal, waited for us to finish, she took us to the hotel. So by the time, remember, she's been working all day, and she's done this for us.
And she still has time.
And she still has that time to be with us. And then after she's taken us to the hotel, she went home. Morning, she checked up on us. Are you guys okay? And then I think within their own community, they had kind of planned who's gonna make sure we've eaten. We never paid for food when we were in California. We never went to a hotel. Because people are offering, we're taking you out, we're doing this, we're doing that. What are you doing? You need to come after hospital, don't stay there for long, which is important, you know. Go and see Joseph, there's nothing else you can do. The doctors are doing the best they can, you know. Very important when you're kind of grieving or stressed. So they'll take me out for a meal, you know, we'll go and do this, you know. And even I had, within that time, Joseph was in ICU for 3 weeks and in a main ward for a week. Within that time, I think I attended 3 parties, birthday parties. It was like, come and distress yourself. Forget about what's happening. We'll continue to pray. Joseph will be fine, but we don't want 2 patients in the UK, in the US. We only want 1. So true.
When you got to California, how did you find Joseph? What state was he in?
Joseph was in a bad shape. He was hooked up in all machines you can tell. And then for me, reading the numbers, there's something called tachycardia. It's just about your heart rate. So I said, I was asking the doctors, okay, what's happening? What kind of medication is he getting? Because I understand all the whatever he's meant to get. And so I could question and ask. So personally, I can say I was confident with what they were doing. And all the best they were doing. I thank that the medical team there.
Was he able to recognize you?
He couldn't talk. He couldn't open the eyes. He was just surviving on oxygen at that moment. Let me tell you, you know, there are those things we take for granted. Joseph was just there. But the first thing I saw my husband do was yawn. I phoned people at home to say, Joseph just yawned.
Well, and that's a big deal.
That was a big thing. Can you imagine somebody's just hooked on a machine and cannot do that? You know? So the time they had removed the thing for the mouth, and so I could see him yawn. I was super excited. I was like, yeah, this man, when you yawn, that means there's some oxygen circulation. And that's a big step. And just like I saw the finger move, everything, any step he was making, I was getting just overwhelmed. I'm like, the doctor said 24 hours.
And look at
24 hours I flew, he's still here. 24 hours it gone, he's still here. I'm here now, it's like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's gone. So he will survive. This man will make it. And I know I'll take him home. What was stressing me is how the boys will be, or how the boys are going to take it, or how they're going to respond to the situation the way it was. But I've got an amazing team in my house. My sons are just they're like my strong will, my fans. My sister Sophie, my sister Rebecca, my close friends. I have my big, I call them my family in Northampton, you know, in UK. So they've been my pillar. So Leslie told me, Mom, we know Dad is not feeling well. We know Dad has had an accident, but make sure you bring Dad home. Okay. So every time I could think about breaking, I'm like, yes, let's bring Dad home. I had to.
Sorry.
So yeah. So I had to tell Leslie, I'll try my best and to bring Dad home. So when I used to go and see Joseph, I was like, I remind him, Leslie wants you home.
Safe.
Lance wants you home. Because both of them used to play rugby. Their season is ended just now, but I used to tell Leslie, Joseph, you know, me, I work a lot, but I don't even know how to play rugby. I can't go and stand and watch the boys play, you know. You need to come back home and go and see the boys play rugby. So you have to. You have no choice, you know. I remember we renewed our vows in 2018, and then accident happened in 2019. So the best man, he's Kenyan as well. There's a time he phoned me when I was in the US, and he said, this man never told me he's going. He's traveling to US. I accepted to be your best man, but I'm not taking your responsibility. So I had to put the phone on Joseph, for him to hear. You know, when they talk, it's like they're quarreling. I'm like, man. He was like, man, I accepted to be your best man. I'm not taking your responsibility. You come back home, you deal with your family. I have my own kids. I have my own wife. You've got your own wife and your own kids. Come on, sort your life. You have to come back and sort your life. So I used to find myself, people phoning me and me kind of cancelling them instead. You know, I tell them maybe, I don't know if it was the right thing or the wrong thing, but maybe that made me strong in a way, because I knew it's not just me hurting. Joseph is a person who's really known in the community. He's a person who's put people together. Joseph, with other friends, they started a charity organization to support people, to bring people of ethnic minority together in Dundee, or just like in Scotland or the UK. So I knew Joseph is not just for me, it's for everybody, you know. And it was up to me to make sure I bring Joseph back home to his people, you know. For me, I can have him anytime, but he's not mine, he's for the people. So going back to the travel insurance, so within that time, because Joseph, the accident happened in a different country in California, so Joseph had to go back home in Scotland. So with the travel insurance, which is important for people in diaspora to have that, you know, you just,
because it came through for you.
it came through for me, for Joseph, you know, you just don't know. We buy flights. Most of the time we kind of book a flight and we kind of like, I don't need that travel insurance. You know, we'll skip that because it will ask you.
Cost,
it's an extra cost.
Things that you don't really need.
But you don't, you
really don't think you need it.
You don't, you're like, hey, £50 or I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
But you don't know what can happen if you have that, if you don't have that, I mean. So Joseph had that travel insurance. We managed to organize for his air ambulance because now his needs has increased. He's got tracheostomy, that's the hole they put in your neck to be able kind of to put oxygen or to try and get the phlegm, like mucus from your lung when you're coughing, you know, like for us when you cough normally you can be able to spit or through your nose, but Joseph cannot do that. So they can manage to kind of get rid of that through like a machine and a suction machine to suck it out. Joseph at the moment cannot eat normally the way we do, so he's got a tube, it's called a peg feed tube, so he just feeds from the tube. He can't eat, as I said, we say nail by mouth or anything. If you try to feed him, he will choke and just maybe die like that. He can't walk because when he had the accident, he broke his leg, and so he needs 2 people to assist him. He can't manage to maybe go to the toilet himself. He needs to be supported with that kind of need, and he's got a catheter to help him like pee, you know. So his needs are quite increased, and but he's a fighter. He's my fighter. He's my rock, and he's been my friend, you know. I always tell my sisters, you know, don't just marry a man, marry a friend, you know. When you marry a friend, you love. You'll be friends, you'll be open, you know. And that's how we've been, you know. Joseph has always been my friend, and even up to now. When I feel stuck, I always think what he would have told me. What are you doing, you know? And Joseph has just... People still think about what... It's not just me. When they feel stuck, they'll be like, I think Joseph would have done this. They'll refer to what Joseph would have done. And they do it. They don't say, this is right. Let me do this. I was like, I think Joseph would have done this.
What would Joseph do?
Yeah, what would Joseph do? And like even now, like because it's summertime in the UK, so we're like, oh God, Joseph would have organized these trips, would have gone this side, would have done this, the kids would be doing this, you know, would have been having like barbecues and something, you know. So that man, love him to bits.
How long have you married this amazing man?
Hey, this amazing man, we got married in 2001, that's years.
Kama tu, wacha
to skip hapo. Anyway, imekuwa for quite a long time. Yeah, quite a long been, and then we renewed our vows in 2018, which I'll talk about the kills. Unajua kills ni nini? So kills, unaona hizo nini wa Scots wanavaa, what do they wear?
They to skirt little
Don't
things.
call them skirts. They don't say skirt. It's offensive.
Really?
You can't say like, oh, they're wearing skirt. It's very offensive.
But they look like skirts though.
Come on, they're kilts.
All right.
Yeah, when you tell a Scot like, oh my God, that's a skirt. It's not a skirt.
Offensive.
It's quite offensive. You say it's a kilt. Yeah. So I made the boys wear the kilt on our wedding day. We renewed our vows. We had a wedding 2018 in Scotland, and it was amazing. We had my family, my mom, my dad came, my friends from England, and it was beautiful. So coming from that wedding 2018 to 2019, having a fall, that was quite drastic.
I know.
It was hard. It was really hard. So when the accident happened, now when we came back to the UK, by ambulance, as I said. So we flew to another town in Scotland called Aberdeen. So from Aberdeen, we came by road to the town where we stayed, Dundee. So in Dundee, Joseph was hospitalized there. He went to ICU because he's coming from a different country. So he was put in ICU for all observations before he can be transferred to the ward. So he got transferred the following day because everything was okay to the expectations. Got transferred there to the main ward, and he stayed there for nearly a year before they could find a place that's suitable for his needs. So they were looking for a neurological facility that has equipped with staff with knowledgeable with tracheostomy care, peg feed, but mostly it's tracheostomy care because that's quite extensive. So he got a place. So at the moment, Joseph is in a care facility being looked after. And I can say the staff there, they are so nice to Joseph. They say when they go to Joseph's room, it's always peaceful. Joseph cannot talk, but you can feel just the peace, the safetiness in the room. And that has always been Joseph. You can even tell from, he's not talking, but you can still feel it. It was weird even when Joseph was in hospital, the staff there were still saying that this man is amazing. Wow. He doesn't talk, he doesn't do anything. But there's that sense of just peace in that room. Yeah. That man, my man, is my hero, my sweetheart, because, as I said, COVID has come, has gone, and he's still standing. From being told you've got 24 hours to how many 24 hours, I can't count.
3 years,
you know? It's 3 years and counting. So when you go, I took time off from work to take care of Joseph. At that time, I took 6 months. So I was there with the kid. I was needing that time to heal myself.
Of course, yeah.
I was needing that to heal myself. So within that time, my job offers counseling for yourself. And then with my college GP practice, with your medical practice, where you normally go for medical attention, they offer you as well counseling. So I was getting 2 counseling from different places. But the funny thing, when I used to go there, they're like, do you really need a counseling? Because I'll go there, I like dressing up, I like my makeup, I love dancing. So I could go there, I could go there, and they're like, so Christabel, tell me, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing fantastic, I'm good, I'm doing this and this. It's like, you're doing everything you're doing, but we'll just take the box, you've been here.
Yes.
Yeah, they were so supportive. And even like now with my medical practice, that year, they gave me some Christmas presents for the 3 of us, you know, things I think we should be doing here as well in our country here. So there was like, Christabel, this year you deserve a Christmas present. So my practice, my medical practice, just got that. And then at that 2019, I didn't want even any celebration, anything Christmas-ish. My friends, I tell you, these friends are my worries.
They'll stop at nothing.
Hey, if I can count names, I don't know how I can count names. I just don't know. My Northampton crew, my Scottish crew, I think I love you to bits. They planned, they kind of contributed money because I was very broke that time. You know, it's only one salary. Yeah? So I didn't know what to get the boys for Christmas. So this guy phones me, Mrs. Lumbasi, he's Nigerian. What are you doing now? I'm like, I'm just chilling. What's up? He's like, have you checked your account? I'm like, why should I check my account? It had nothing. And you know the way they speak, it's a bit nice, aggressive. They're like, get out of that house and go shopping. So it's like, hey, okay. So this nice, amazing team had deposit money. That's on the 24th before Christmas. It was like, it's getting late, the shops will be closed, because in UK, Christmas Day, no shops open, everything is shut. So we went to the shop, I went and bought the boys Christmas present. Forgetting about that actually, now, because we got married on the 7th of July, we renewed our vows 7th of July 2018. So our anniversary, 7th of July 2019, found myself and Joseph still in hospital. What did my friend do? They liaised to the ward and planned for a surprise wedding anniversary for us. I'll never thank these people enough. I'll never in my life. I just wish them all the best with whatever they're doing and God's protection. So they liaised with the friends and the hospital, created a room where that was a hard one. It was sweet but hard because my son Lance had to stand for the dad and promise not to leave me. You know, he was like, you are the best. I'm reading this for dad. You are the best. And I'll always love you. And then he had to say something as my son. Mom, you're the best and you're doing the best you can to take care of us. And we just wish you the best and give us the strength that you deserve. And then after that, my Zimbabwean friends, these people can eat nyama like something else. So they planned a barbecue. So we went and just had the anniversary there. I wasn't even expecting that at all because I was scared.
Yeah.
I was so scared kind of just getting to that day. It's like your first anniversary after the wedding and the person you're meant to celebrate with is not there. And then your son stands there and speak on behalf, you know, of your dad. And what a strong man that handsome boy is, you know, and he speaks. And he comes and says, oh, come on, you've had enough tears. Come on, mom, just stop it. Can you just grow up? Mom, just grow up. You're a big woman, you know? Just stop it. So I was like, okay, Lance, I'll grow up. I won't even say anything.
You keep talking about this wedding. Tell me some of the most important things that happened that you still carry today. Memories.
Yeah, and I'll still remember this forever and ever. So my wedding was amazing. I love I brought Kenya to Scotland. Let me put it that way. Upper when like wedding, like in the UK, if there's a wedding, people buy like for their own drinks. You know, you have to sort yourself. You go to the bar and you buy your own drinks. But for me, we don't do that in Kenya. If you're buying, like if you're sorting your friends, you provide food and drinks for your guest.
Yes, you do
so
that.
I did that, but for me, I wanted that to be like a surprise for them. So during the reception, I kind of like organized like a small kind of bar. You want soft drink, you want hard drinks. You go and like pretend you're ordering it, but they measure that for you and they give you what you want. So there were Zungus and everybody, they were like, oh, this man is like, no, it's for free. They're like, it's for free? I'm like, we're Kenyans, we serve our guests. Other than that, church, because Joseph, this man has always waited for me. And I gave him a hard time when he was trying, when we were courting, you know, before we started courting. He said, I did play hard to get for actually a year.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I was like,
he was patient.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Because that time I was in Kakamega and he was in Nairobi, University of Nairobi. So I was like, you guys, you know, in Nairobi, you have lots of chicks in Nairobi. I can't trust you, you know. No, I couldn't trust him. So I was like, 1 year. But this guy was very patient. He waited and waited. Brings me back on my wedding day. So he's always waited for me. So that day I decided it's my wedding day. I'm going to wait for you at the altar. Wow. So I waited for my husband at the altar.
So he walked down the aisle.
He walked down, and all the men, they carried flowers. So all myself and my girls, I know. So myself and my girls, my bridesmaids, we lined up. We just walked like the way the men do. They walk and wait. So the girls, we went. I was there waiting for my man to bring flowers to me, and the girls, their partners, they brought flowers to them. So the partners, they did the flowers first, and I got the last. I was the last person to give me flowers.
Your husband.
The men hated it. How dare you make us walk with flowers, carrying flowers like girls. If you men don't give your girls flowers, you have to do it on my wedding day. You have to do it, no choice. So they did it. Wow. That's the best part I love about my wedding. That's the best part. Wow. I love my wedding. I love about my wedding, and my boys, they carried our rings, and they don't like this. I'll tell you about this as well. So the boys had like have you watched this movie of Will Smith? I saw the boys thing. It's like security thing. So they had the shades and the security box. So the security box had our rings. So they were like security guys.
For your wedding.
They hated it. They killed.
And you made them do it.
I made them do it. It's the only day I could command.
And you owned it.
I owned it, and they did it perfectly.
Wow.
And I had 3 hen nights. On your hen, the thing. Yeah, so I had 3 hen nights. So I have different friends. That's what I'm saying. I have good network of friends.
So the first one was by...
So my first hen night was with my friends from a small town where I live. It's called Fofa. So we went to Spain for a week. So we had a fantastic time. These girls are so crazy. It was a blast. It was amazing. Now my Kenyan girls from Northampton, they took me to Bulgaria, and we had a brilliant time. And my third hen night was my crazy.
Hen night is your version of bridal shower.
Yeah, bridal shower is like it's a bridal shower kind of. So I had the 3 bridal showers.
The third one was
the third one was my Dundee friends, my girls just again. And so that one was in a city called Edinburgh in Scotland. That was lit. It was crazy. All were different in just different angles, but my wedding was the best. I can say that it was good.
Looking back at this man who you married many years ago, what are some of the things you see about him? You saw about him all those years that kept you going. 22 years is not small.
Oh my God, that man is very patient. I can refer to that when my mom said, Indo ikaribika itakuwa ni wewe.
She knows who she raised.
Hey, yeah. I mean, this boy of mine is so polite. If this marriage fails, I'll blame you. But you have to make it work in a way, you know. But that shouldn't be a sentence to be used at the moment. I can refer to that when you tell your daughter you have to make that marriage work. No. If that marriage doesn't work, you're better than that. You walk away.
Come back home,
yeah, if it doesn't work, you walk away. But for me, I can say my mom said, because this man is an amazing man, he's kind, very loving, very patient, and I just love his intelligence. That was a turn on for me. It's like, hey, he's got brains, yeah? Hey, that's a turn on. Hey, yeah, he's got brains, he can think, he can reason, he sees ahead. I think he was like my kiboko.
Wow.
He was like, hey, calm down. Girl, yeah, you're going too fast. Stable, relax. Let's do this and let's do that. I think this is very beneficial.
That's true.
And I think I am where I am because of this guy. He's made me who I am. I can't say I was shy. I've never been a shy one. I'll say whatever I want to say. But there are some things this man has molded me into. To be patient and to think before I even open my big mouth. I used just to I'll just say it. But I'm like, I have to think, why am I saying and how will it affect the other person? He taught me that, He taught me active listening. It's not just listening, it's taking everything and emotions and everything. You need to listen and evaluate everything that you're thinking about. Before you do it or before you act. So I love Joseph because of that intelligence, because of his calmness. And I can now say that, he's a great dad, This man will just sit with the sons and watch news. He's so close to both boys, but Lance will just sit and kind of argue. They used to do that when Lance was even before 10. And then Lance will be like, and what's this? And Dad, what do you think about this? The president is doing this, and I don't think about this and that, and what do you think? So they'll have an argue. They'll fall out if they're not agreeing. They'll fall out, and they'll be like, yeah, but Dad, I wasn't happy because of this and this, I don't think if you said this the right way, And then the dad will be like, I brought you in this country, you speak my language, you know. And then people like, you know, when you're in my house, you're Kenyan, yeah? When you're outside, you're British. So you do Kenyan when you're in my house.
In my house, in my space.
This is my space. Yes. I'm raising you.
Yeah.
So do Kenyan here. You know, outside,
you can be whatever.
You can be who you want within the limit, you know. So he's a great man. He's a great dad. He's a community person. He brings people. He's like he's an advocate for the voiceless. And then I think that's what has made him strong and me strong as well, because he's taught me how to be strong. The resilience I do have is because of him.
Right.
The resilience I do have is because of how, despite having the accident, how he's managed to cope. Despite having despite COVID being here, and for him just being who he is, that man is amazing, you know.
Yeah.
And I've got people to thank. University of Nairobi, I think I've mentioned. If I haven't, I'm thanking them. Joseph went to Mukumo Boys, and those guys have been amazing as well. And my high school friends, I went to Igunga Girls. You don't even know it. It's in the village somewhere in Western there. They've been amazing as well. Wow. And my close friends in the UK, so, and my workmates as well. You know, they'll phone and just when we go to work, and we'll joke about everything. You know, we've made it like a joke, which has become quite easy. You know,
to cope,
yeah, and. As I said earlier on, I do love dancing. I remember when I used to go to for my counseling for both sessions, my counselors used to ask me, so Christabel, what do you love most? I said, I love dancing. I love going to Zumba and just going out. I remember even Joseph, I could come from work, and then I told Joseph, like, you know, sweetheart, I finish work, but I want to go and dance for 2 hours and come home. I feel great. Because I believe within all this time, I need to be me first.
You're right. You
I
can't
need to be
pour
me
for
first.
an empty.
Exactly. So if I'm me, I'll be able to take care of Joseph and the boys as well. Yeah. The thing I told myself, not to worry about Joseph, to allow my friends to worry about Joseph, for me to worry about myself and the boys. Kids. So I will be a messenger to my friends and tell them this is how Joseph is. This is how Joseph is, and this is how I am, and this is how the boys are. It has helped me. I love my man to bits. But I've kind of helped myself not to worry about him, because I know the care he's getting is good. I can't fault it, you know. I can't say there's I don't cry. There's a time I'll do all my personal therapies. I do walk a lot. When I feel so low, I'll just go for a long stroll, even 2 hours, come back home tired, or I'll do like a deep cleaning in the house and do what I need to do, get tired and then sleep. But sometimes I'll speak to Christabel. I'll cry when I've done all this and it's not working. I've walked, I've cleaned, I've spoken to my friends and it's not working. I'm like, oh, Christabel, we need to sit down and talk. So I'll cry and I'll speak, and at that time I record myself speak. I'll tell myself, you know, you're gorgeous, you're intelligent, you've got kids, you've got family, you've got a good network, your friends love you, they love Joseph. Joseph is an amazing person. So why are you stressed? Tell me why you're stressed. And I won't have maybe an answer to why I am stressed. Yeah. So I'll leave it for like maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, and then I'll listen to my own words speaking to me.
It's therapeutic.
And I'll be like, yeah, it's such a relief, you know. Speaking to yourself, tell yourself that the affirmation, you're like, I'm gorgeous, I'm beautiful, I can do this and everything. I record myself so that I remember what I've done. I listen to me speaking to me. How kind important the things I have achieved through this journey. You know, like, you know, it happened, Christabel, but Christabel, you know, when it happened, you did this and this. Christabel, you went to hospital. You remember that day you went to hospital and then this happened, you was upset, but you did this and this. Right. So can you stick to this? You know, when you're feeling like maybe it's 100%, but 90% you're feeling that negative energy. Christabel, can you try and focus on the 10% energy, the positive energy? Because Joseph doesn't need this negativity. And most of the time, if I go and visit Joseph, I'll wear our wedding perfume, which has always been our favorite since even before our wedding. So even on the wedding day, that's what I wore. I love perfumes. That's my weakness, perfumes and earrings. So I always wear that. And so that when I go and see Joseph, he knows it's me. It's not his carers or nurses or anything, you know. He knows it's me. So I've always done that to bond with the boys, with Joseph, and even the boys, you know. I'll tell Lance, you know, when you speak to Dad, or tell Leslie, speak to Dad. Can you remind Dad the funny things he used to do? And sometimes we'll joke, and then Leslie will try and imitate the dad. You know, that guy can be a comedian. We used to call him Will Smith because when he was young, he really looked like him. So we're like, come on, Will Smith, can you speak to your dad? So he'll try to imitate the way the dad speaks. You know, Leslie's, the two boys, they speak with a kind of more like a Scottish accent. And he'll imitate the dad with like so Kenyan accent. I'll be in stitches laughing. It was like, yeah, Dad will say this and that. And those guys have been my hero, the two boys. Yeah.
This has been your coping mechanism. Any other thing you do to like remain you as Christabel? You know, without taking, what do you do to? Because all these things are affecting you, all these incidents.
Yeah.
How do
I cope?
Yeah.
I talk. I dance when I say I need a break. I'll go and just dance. I go to Zumba. I do Zumba. I love Zumba. It's an addiction. It's a positive addiction. Yeah. So when I miss Zumba, I feel like there's something that's missing in me. And I like traveling as well. So I'll be like, I just want to jump in maybe the next train, the next flight to England to go and see my friends. So maybe I might be finishing work on Friday. Saturday morning, I'm like, I'm going. Sunday, I'm back because I'm working on Monday. So I've made an effort to think about me first because I need to be sane. Yeah. I need to be okay to be able to manage Joseph, to be able to manage the boys, to be able to manage my work, because remember now it's like one salary in the house. It used to be two. So Christabel needs to come first. Christabel needs to be okay. But to be okay, Christabel needs to know what are the triggers that are making her upset and try and find kind of like an intervention for that. So I thank God and I thank my friends for kind of just the good support I've had for like all this time. And I mean, they've just been amazing. And I think, as I said, I love walking a lot, you know, and I don't allow myself, I get stressed, yes. But when I feel like, hey, this one is going to be a hard one, I found somebody, I'm like, okay, can you just talk to me? I just want to talk. But don't talk about Joseph. Let's talk about something else. Because, yeah, I want to talk. I just want to talk. And they're always there for me. If they're working as well, I do understand people do shifts. If they're like in those industry, like where they're doing shifts, they'll be like, oh, can I phone you later on? They'll be there. They'll phone me or text me, you know. There's nothing I can say. I think for anybody who's going through a tough time, don't stop doing what you're doing, what you love most, let me say. Yeah. Don't stop. If you like walking, if you like art, like painting, don't ever stop. The time you get hit by such any traumatic thing, that day is your determining factor if you will fall or you'll pick yourself up. That day. So for me, that day I said, Christabel, this is your life now. We don't know when it's gonna change. We don't know. You don't know anything. Joseph is here, you know. But what are you doing for yourself? How do you want to manage yourself to manage Joseph, you know? So I said, okay, I'll do me first, you know. I'll do me first. And this is the other thing. Me, when that thing happened, I went out. I'm like, don't speak about Joseph, don't speak about my kids. Don't give me that sad face. I don't need it. Because Joseph is fine. So it's something like, oh, how are you coping? I'm out to have fun. So don't ask me about that, because I'm running away from it at the moment. I want to be me.
Recharge, yeah.
I want to recharge, to know I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm beautiful, I'm strong.
Going to be okay.
Give me that space. Give me that space to be me, So my friends, they own a certain club where I go. They're like, Christabel, we're so proud of you. You are here. That's positive.
Yes.
We are proud of you. You are here. Say, okay, you just have what you need. It's on me.
It's on the house.
It's on the house. So fun, have fun.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, like, I have a prayer group as well,
It's
where we do like 1 week. So now it's not just my issue. So any person who's got an issue, we like this, because people are busy. So this Saturday, can we set 7 o'clock, for example? We're doing a prayer for so and so about this issue. So we'll do it online. We'll do a Zoom or just like a video WhatsApp thingy. So, and then we'll just pray for each other. So I've got that network as well. I've got different type of friends, and I think sometimes we do judge here if somebody, maybe you can't be praying and still going to dance in a club. What's wrong with dancing? What's wrong with dancing? Me, I love dancing. You send me now, I will go. And I won't even shy to dance. I'll do it. Willingly.
In a heartbeat.
Hey, yeah.
You'll turn it up in a bit.
Oh, God, yeah.
Wonderful.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I'll shift the gear a bit and get to understand more about what you do, because you keep saying work, work, work. I'm interested to find out. What do you do in Scotland?
So,
yes,
I work with cancer patients, and we do quite a lot of stuff. Yeah, in that kind of speciality.
All right.
Nursing and palliative, and end of life. And you know what? I love, it's like something we don't talk about it here.
That's right. Yeah.
About dying. Hey,
you are African.
I am African, but guys, please,
people don't talk about death.
We don't talk about death.
Yes.
It's an omen. But why should it be an omen? And
exactly.
It's a process. It's a transition. I mean, we want to live, yeah. We were born, we will live, but at a nanny, everybody, at some point, we will live this up. It's in the Bible. It's gonna happen, and it will happen.
Yeah.
But I work with cancer patients, and
how's that for you, though? Like,
I love it.
Working with people who they do know that they are dying. How is it, for them? How do you help them transition now that they know they're transitioning? Yes.
There's some that are curative, like the cancer, maybe depending on the stage that somebody is on at the moment, they'll receive the chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and if it's identified earlier on. And I think it's important for us women, even if people are scared to know if they have cancer or not, but sometimes it's good to know, go for the smear test.
Yeah.
And if it's identified early, at least you have 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or even forever, for it to get sorted. Than you living knowing, not like you don't want to go for the smear test, you don't want to know you've got cancer or something. So by the time you start having those kind of mild symptoms, you go to your doctor, and then your doctor says, your cancer is advanced. But you would have saved yourself maybe some few years if you just went for a smear test. It's free here.
It is.
It is free. You can just go and do it. You can prevent. Just go and get that thing. It's very uncomfortable, yes, but it's worth it, And then with the breast cancer as well, just if you can pay to get tested, why just go and get checked. Because I think in this country as well, there's those kind of 4 rare cancers. And by the way, the breast cancers is not just for women. Men get breast cancers as well. So people just need to go and get tested. And I love working with cancer patients. And the hard thing about doing the job I do is dealing with the family or the relatives or the friends when maybe the person is dying. That's a hard bit, because you'll find some of the patients, they've kind of they've had the chemotherapy, they've had the radiotherapy, and they're tired of it, because the chemo makes you worse before you get better, and sometimes it can even get you maybe better, and then still you won't make it. Just depends. So you'll find maybe the person has already accepted, you know, me, I'm ready to go, but the family is not ready to let go of the person die, you know. So the hard part is trying. You don't even have the words to tell the person, you know, your family, you know, your dad or your mom or your sister, brother is ready to go, you know. You have to give them that the reassurance to make, like, that's the point where the doctor needs to kind of call a meeting with the family or next of kin or something, speak to them, call them and tell them, you know, what we've done. We've tried this medication, we've done this and this, but your patient, like, won't make it. You'll just, in Kenya, like, you'll be wasting your money, and that won't be rude, or the person, or the doctor won't be telling you, like, wachana tu nae, you're wasting your money. No. This doctor is being realistic, because this doctor has checked, like, the full blood count, has checked all they've checked all the results. They've seen, even if we tell you, okay, we'll try our best, it doesn't really,
it won't change anything.
It won't change anything. But what I'm trying to do, the doctor will be like, maybe what I'm trying to do as a doctor, I'm trying to save you the hassle, the stress. The only thing you can do with this person, make sure your patient is comfortable for the transition to end of life. You know, don't stress. Allow yourself to let the person go. Get some counseling, you know, so that you don't stress as well, you know. And then sometimes with the kind of end of life, you know, palliative doesn't really mean like you're dying tomorrow. You can be on palliative for years, but end of life is like now, like you're dying. So I love palliative and I love end of life. I'm not weird, but I really like giving somebody dignified kind of death.
Right.
You know? Not kind of pushing, like abusing the patient by kind of giving antibiotic, or for example, unampatia this medication saying, I'm hopeful this patient is going to survive. There's some measures you've checked, you see there's some chances maybe the person can survive. But why torture this person with all this, and then like here back at home, you'll make the family pay for this and pay for this and pay for, or just say, okay, we are taking this, can you try and sort some money to take this person to India, for example? We might salvage something. And then what happens? The person goes to India, comes back, maybe stays a week, or even just dies there, and that's gone. You know. So why can't you try and get cancel this family who have no idea? Maybe they don't have any like medical kind of background. Speak to them. Speak to them. Tell them this is what is supposed to be done. You know. Your patient, I'm so sorry to say, I've done this test and we've done this test. Even if I do like try and get more intervention to try and heal, it won't work. Is this what you want for your patient? So what we normally do is, like, when it gets to like end of life, we'll try and get some medication to make this patient be comfortable in that transition to death. You know, not to be distressed, maybe some oxygen for comfort, some medication so that the patient is kind of relaxed. When it comes, you don't want you as a family being there, seeing maybe your patient throwing everything or just being restless, because you don't know, for you, you're like, is this my patient in pain? Or what? Or like trying to kind of, to breathe and cannot breathe. So that's why it's important for that patient to have some oxygen. So even that patient is trying to breathe, there's oxygen, but yeah, it's helping. but this patient is dying, you know. So your patient is having some dignified death, you know. Very important. You don't want to see your patient trying to gasp for air or throwing legs there, you know. It's not right. It's not right.
Yeah.
I just wish some of our medical team could just be honest with the family and tell them, you know, this is how it is, you know. We've tried this and we've done this, and I think, or just maybe leave the patient to the family to decide, but have that responsibility to tell them, even if you do this or do that, it won't make any difference, you know. Save them maybe some money, which is important, even if they can afford to do what they want to do with the patient. Be open and tell them, even if you're doing this and this, it won't happen, you know. Be open and just speak about it with the family, you know. It's quite important.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the incidents that have happened in your line of work that are memorable to you today? Like with a patient.
Hey,
so
I'll
weird
tell you a lot, but I'll tell you the one that kind of happened recently, like 2 months ago. I won't disclose a lot because of data protection,
of course, yeah.
And I won't disclose where I work as well.
Okay.
But it's a beautiful story.
Right.
So this patient, I nursed that day when this patient was dying. I won't say if it was such he or she either. So the patient died. I was attending to another patient, but I was in charge with another lady. The two of us were in charge for this patient. So one of the healthcare assistants called us, oh, patient so-and-so has just passed away. So we rushed to go and see this patient. So we do make sure, where we are, we have to kind of make sure the patient is comfortable. We had already done that, but kind of to prepare the body. And then you phone the mortuary to come and get the body. So there, we were like, because I really didn't know that patient personally, but that day I was just put to work there. So I was like, what kind of music do you think this patient likes, you know? Or what kind of radio station do you think this patient likes? So she was like, Christabel, let's try this one because it has like a nice slow music. And then she put that radio station. Guess what? It wasn't even a slow music. It was like a jumpy kind of music.
Oh my God,
so we burst laughing. We both were in stitches. We were laughing. It was like, Christabel, that's not
what
slow
did you
music.
just do? Yeah.
But the lady knows the song. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. So we kind of prepared the body, phoned the mortuary. They came and got the body and left. So where we are, that hospital, see when we know the person is dying, yeah? And because of COVID, there have been kind of restrictions on visiting.
Yeah.
So when the patient is dying, we do this person-centered care where we engage everybody. We care for the patient, but we care for the family most of the time, actually. Yeah. So we do open visit, so the family can come and stay there as long as they want.
Wow. So
stay in the room. We have like visitors room, visitors bed and everything. So they can sleep there, have something to eat, everything. So the mother came and the dad and so that was after they had spent. Yeah. So they went home and they said they wanted a break. So they just left the room. So after exactly half an hour, the patient died. It was like this patient was waiting for them to go. Maybe the patient didn't want to die when the family is there.
Around.
So the family left and the patient died. So when the patient died, the healthcare assistants came and told myself and my colleague, oh, so-and-so has died. So we went and, as I said, we selected the music to try because we have to prepare the body, put identifications and everything, make sure the patient is clean. Because when the patient dies, everything starts coming out, you know. I won't go into details to scare your viewers, but things come out and so you have to make sure the person is clean. and we send the body. We phone the porters to come and get the body to take. So we did that, and when the parents came back, so at that time we had phoned the parents to come and to say goodbye before the body is taken away to the mortuary. So the parents came. So the guy asked me, they're both white, Scots. So they asked me, oh, so Christabel, thank you so much for doing what you're doing, thanking me and everything, and my colleague as well. So I was like, it's okay, it's fine. You know, that's always the hard part. End of life care, that's the hard part, trying to comfort the family, not even the patient dying, because in a way for us, that's expected. You've dealt, you know this patient is dying. So your mind is kind of more focused on the patient, but now dealing with the patient, you know, that's always a hard job. We have to work as a team, comfort each other. You know, it's okay. That's the person is peaceful, is fine. We really take care good of each other anyway. So the dad asked me, so Christabel, where are you from? I said, oh, I'm from Kenya. I'm like, and he got excited. Remember, this is a Mzungu, is a white guy. Yeah? Like he was like, I was like, why are you getting excited? Like, oh my God. Where are you from? Where do you come from? Like in Kenya? I said, I come from Kakamega. No way. It's like, I was raised in Kakamega. He was raised in Kakamega. The dad those days used to be like a DC or something in Kakamega.
Interesting.
And then he said, the last time I was in Kakamega was in Kenya. It was in 2017. I had to go and visit where my dad used to work, where we were raised from. I even have a Kenyan passport and a British passport, but I was there in the room representing the Kenyan blood. So that's the best thing I've ever I've got lots of stories about death, but I think that really touched me for him to say the Kenyan blood was in that room. The patient didn't die alone. There was some Kenyan blood in that room.
Wow.
It was beautiful.
For Kenyan who wants to get in touch with you, you know, for whatever they want to reach out to you for, how can they reach you?
Oh, I want to give my full names, Christabel Ongachi. So because I've got my cousin who's in the US, we share both names. So I used to get her friend's request, and then she gets mine as well. So I was like, okay, you stay with Christabel Ongachi. I'll change my name. So it's Xtabel Osinde. Osinde is my dad. So I use Xtabel Osinde. So that's my Facebook account. And then for my email is christabelongachi@yahoo.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having us in your home.
You're so much welcome.
We thank you. Yes, we appreciate your time and taking us through this journey, the painful past, and opening up, you know. We appreciate you.
No, thank you for your time, actually, for traveling to come and see us here. So,
you're welcome.
And you're doing an amazing thing to reach out and to speak to people as well. So it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we would like to thank you so much for staying with us till the end of the show. My name, as always, is Yvonne Kawira. And until next time, keep it Tuko.